Hello, in this section we're going to look at correlation and regression. So first of all, the Correlate program computes Pearson's product moment correlations and partial correlations with significance levels. So to select the procedures using SPSS for Windows, we click Analyze, Correlate, Bivariate, and for regression, which calculates the bivariate and multiple regression equations associated with statistics and plots. It allows for an easy examination of the residuals. This procedure can be run by clicking Analyze, Regression, Linear. Now the detailed steps will be illustrated using the data of table 12.7. The first thing we do is we go to Select Analyze from the SPSS menu, and we click Correlate and then Bivariate. So I've just got my Windows SPSS open. This is table 12.7, and we go to run our correlation. We go Analyze, Correlate, and then Bivariate. So Bivariate means there's two variables which we're going to use, right? So, and that brings up our command box. So then we can go move attitude towards motorcycles and duration of car ownership into variables box. So we go attitude and duration. So it's got those two things in there. Sweet. Then we check Pearson under the correlation coefficients. So under here we go under correlations coefficients, we've got Pearson's selected. We can also do Spearman rank correlation coefficient, which is a different test that we use for categorical data. We do that sometimes in marketing research, but it's different type of data. And this week we're focusing on Pearson's correlation coefficient. We're going to then go back to our lecture slides and we go, we check the one-tailed test under significance, under the test of significance, and then check flag significant correlations. So we go here. We've got one-tailed, and we've got flag significant. Right, and then we're ready to click OK. Now this is a pretty quick test. It spits it out here. It's great for us to see, and it shows straight away that our attitude, the correlation is between attitude and duration is 0.936, which is very high. All right, and you can see here it's got attitude this way and duration that way, so that's where the thing. So the correlation between attitude and attitude, of course it's the same variable, so it's 100, right, or 1. Whereas we're interested in the between duration and attitude, and it's the same way here. So duration and is 0.936. So you get quite a few numbers thrown in here, but we're really interested in that one and that one. The reason why it does it is like in a matrix one is because you can do multiple correlations with heaps of different things, and it kind of spits out a nice big table of all the different ones in there and how they related to each other. It kind of does a bit of the work for us. You see the two stars there. You look at the bottom, it goes correlation is significant at the 0.01 level, which is really good, which means it's really significant because we're testing at the 0.05 level, the 95% confidence, and this actually is significant at the 99% level, which is not that common. So it's good. So obviously the standard that we teach you in this class is 95%, and that's true in most cases. If you can get 99%, it's good. Often we don't need to worry about that because we set that before we do the tests. But in research, if you get something that's really strongly significant like that, it's kind of nice to know. All right. So what I want to do, I think that's that one there yet. So we're just going to show you where this is in the textbook. So this is the data on page 371. Using the statistical software such as SPSS, the correlation coefficient between attitude and duration based on the table 12.7 data is calculated at 0.9361, and we've got that there. 0.936. SPSS now rounds up to 3 variables, so it cuts up that one. All right, and it's significantly significant, which ours was at the because the p-value. Where are we here? The p-value is less. So the significance is the p-value is less than 0.001. Oh, right. Sorry, it's less than 0.025. So that's correlation. So that's pretty easy, straightforward. Now we're going to go to regression analysis, and the way we do it is we select Analyze. and then we click regression and then linear regression. So let's do that. So we go to here, we go analyze, regression, linear regression. Click that. Alright, and it brings up this command box. So what we're going to do then is we're going to move attitude into the dependent box. Oops. Attitude into the dependent box. And we're going to move duration into the independent box. Duration into the independent box. Right, cool. So that means that this duration has an impact on this attitude. So if this is independent, that means the duration of car ownership isn't actually influenced by attitude towards motorbikes, but rather our attitude towards motorbikes is influenced by how long we have a car, which kind of makes sense. And it's really important when we do this, like we set these out, which one's the independent variable, which one's the dependent variable, but it's up to theory. So the way that you craft your theory or the way that you're testing it, so it's up to your own common sense in the way that things work as to which one's the independent variable and which one's the dependent variable. So it just requires a bit of thinking. Alright, now we've done that, now we select enter in the method, and then we'll do that one first, so which is the default. So under here we've got method, enter, default, so that's pretty simple. And then the next one we go, then we click statistics and check estimates under regression coefficients. So we go under statistics, and we've got estimates under the regression coefficients. Cool. And is there anything else we need to check? We check model fit, and then we click continue. A lot of these things are defaulted, right? So we've got model fit in there as well, so that's defaulted. But we're just checking to make sure. Because if you do change it, sometimes, like if you do something fancy, then you come back to it, it might remember your settings from the last time you did the test. So it's good to check these, right? So we've got these set. Click continue. And now I think we can run OK. Is that right? Click OK. Yep. Click OK. And it spits out this result here. There's a little bit of stuff in here, so that's pretty cool. So regression. So here's our variable. We had the duration. We got the variable. It didn't remove any variables. We've got the enter method, which we told it to do, and it gives us a the data output there. Now I'm just going to go to the textbook because we've got the regression analysis here. Go to regression analysis. It doesn't actually have the example in there. It only gives the example for multiple regression analysis in here. But this is the type of stuff that we're working with. So we click OK. Now what it does do, if you look here, which is pretty exciting. So I've just banged this out into Excel. This is an extra slide which I put in there just to try and explain something. So we're comparing attitude and duration. Now with the correlation, it just gave us like a relationship between the two variables. So it said as one goes up, the other one goes up by a certain amount. So it says the strength. But this actually gives us a formula here. It gives us an equation, which is pretty cool. And we can get these numbers from our, if we know where to look, we can get these numbers from our SPSS outputs. So we click to our outputs, and I'm just going to minimize this, like squeeze it down a little bit. If we look here, so this line is the equation for our regression analysis, and what that's saying, I'm just going to move this out of the way a little bit, what that's saying is as attitude, so y, so duration equals, so we want to find out what duration equals whatever our x value is multiplied by 0.5897 plus 1.09, so that's our intercept, right? And these numbers actually come from here. So we got the 0.59, which is that number there, which just, this is like more detailed. SPSS only rounds to 3 decimal places, which is good, makes it easier. So that's the gradient, and this here is the intercept. All right, so that's pretty straightforward, and it gives us the significance here for the coefficients as well. So this isn't significant, but it's still helpful to know, right? So that concludes the normal. For bivariate regression, we do the same things. So the steps for running multiple regression are similar, except for in step 4. In step 4, we can move duration of car ownership and importance attached to the box. So we're going to do that now. We'll just quickly throw this example. Oh, no, sorry, wrong one. So we go analyze. We do regression, linear regression. Now, the dependent variable is attitude, and the independent variable we've got duration, and we're going to add importance. Is that right? Duration and importance into the independent variable box. All right, cool. So and then we click OK, and it runs our data for multiple regression. All right, and then there's our answers, which helps us. All right, so that ends. So that shows us that we. Well, what I'll just compare it with the textbook. So, oops, wrong one. All right, let's see how similar it is. So, our multiple R was 9.72. Our R squared, which is the coefficient of determination, is 9.45. Our adjusted R squared, which happens with the multiple regression analysis, is 0.933, and the standard error of the estimate is 0.86, which is, that's 4 decimal places, that's the 3 decimal places. So that's the same kind of outputs. All right, now we'll look at the other one above it. So for our for our outputs here, we got the 3.77 for our constant and 5.567 for our standard error. But this is the one that we're kind of looking at the most. These ones in this box here. Not you. I want you. All right. And then for importance, we got 2.89, and for duration, we got 4.81. Now, significance also put in there. So for the table, for the data of table 12.7, we can explain the attitude towards motorcycles in terms of duration, of motorcycle ownership, and the importance attached to performance. The results of multiple regression analysis are depicted in 12.8, which we just looked at. The corresponding SPSS and outputs can be downloaded. The intercept value of 0.333 and the partial regression coefficient for x1 is 0.481, and for importance 0.287. All right. That ends the data analysis section for this week's lecture series. We won't be going through Microsoft Excel because we don't need to know that for this class. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to seeing you in the workshop.